you just spent the day with us here, and you started the day by telling your story at First Baptist Woodstock. Now, I've been in your church for the Send Conference in 2013.
Yes.
2013 it was, or I think it was 2012. But I remember walking into the wrong sanctuary because you'll go to the main sanctuary, and so we went to the sub-sanctuary, which seats 1,500 people. So we know First Baptist Woodstock, Dr. Johnny Hunt is the pastor of the mega church, but it didn't start that way for you.
In 1986, when we got there, we had under 200 people in attendance. The church had split. It was very unhealthy. They had dismissed their pastor and their minister of music, the two primary full-time staff members. And so the church was struggling to survive. But yet, there was a handful of people, and I think they lived under the shadow of other great ministries around the Atlanta area, always in hope that one day God would do the same thing with them. And so it really started growing fast, almost immediately. But I believe it was, even though they seemed unhealthy, the truth is some of the people that left may have been more of a blessing in disguise than we realize. Could be that they would have been the barriers to the growth that we've experienced. That's what some of the people that were left felt. So it could have been what we would call a good purging. Now, I love people, so I don't mean that in a negative way, but it could have been a good purging. Some people call it a backdoor revival, where now the church is poised to see its greater days. And so as God began to give the increase, the people received it well and celebrated it. And so here we are now, start my 30th year in about 3 weeks, and the people still celebrate what God has done there. Not just in the way we've grown, but the way we've sent so many out for other church plants, so many missionaries that we've sent to foreign field. So as J.D. Greer says in his new book, we're gaining by losing. And I like to even say we're not losing, we're launching people to serve the Lord everywhere.
That's incredible. What were the signs of hope in those early years?
The signs of hope is I began to talk to people that knew of T.W. Hunt and his prayer life, and he had influenced them. They knew Avery Willis, and they had gone through Master Life, and I thought, there are not many, but the ones that are here have real depth to them. They're people that feel like the Lord told them when there was a chance to leave, don't leave, I'm not through with this congregation. So they had this hope with them that they could rise. There's a little saying that you can go 40 days without food, 4 days without water, 4 minutes without air, but you can't live 4 seconds without hope. So that's a good word to use. Those people hoped for a better day. And when it came, they celebrated.
During that time, before the hope came, as you said, did you see signs where people were losing a little bit of that hope? Because, almost like a wilderness.
Some of the people struggled, that they really realized they didn't have control, but you could tell that by it fell apart in their heads. But even though they knew that, it doesn't mean they let go. Some still tried to control the environment. Some wanted to control me. They'd always been in a controlling factor. The problem was that they didn't they didn't give up easy. They still would tell me this is the way it's going to be. But I really had a lot of tenacity, and I just said, that's not the direction I want to lead. And we'll need to vote as a church in those early days. And there was enough people there that wanted to see the change that the votes always passed. And eventually those who kept losing, since they couldn't control it, left.
So why would we then tell an established church, so they have a building, or many of us here in Vancouver, they have been established, but they don't own a building. We have 80 plus churches and 9 buildings. And so they may not have a building per se. But what would you tell an established church or those who are looking to help? Why not give up on them?
Yeah, one reason we shouldn't give up on them is because they're the hope for the future. They're growing. We ought to be the ones to infuse life to them. None of us got to where we are without someone helping us. The churches that are wondering about whether they should help others, if they would study the history, they would see there was a day and time that someone helped them, and they wouldn't be where they are had it not been for that help. And then also, who doesn't want to have healthy children? And really what you could do, you could become like a mother or father to another congregation and infuse some finances, some lay people, some service, most of all some encouragement to help them see great days again. They can live again, sort of like the valley of the dry bones. Can these bones live again? It's an absolute.
When church leaders are watching this, our normal church in Vancouver is 50 or less. Most of ours are probably 40 and 30, and it's not because they're a church plant, but because it's been stagnant for a long time. If you're looking at the church leader, a deacon, those who founded the church, those who are trying to start something again, if I'm going to leave the last word to you, what's your encouragement to them?
I would encourage them to read a book like Hope for the Church by Ed McIntosh, or Breakout Churches by Ed Stetzer. And I would get them to dream again. They had a dream when they started. They developed so many leaders, but you can't continue to grow unless you develop more leaders. So they're going to have to do again what they did. They're not going to have to try to grow from 50 up. They're going to go back to the foundation and solidify and make sure they've got a solid foundation of a broader number of leaders that can really make a difference. But they had hope and vision when they started, and somewhere along the way in the hard work and the hard soil, they've lost it. They've got to get back, get along with the Lord, re-dream, let God instill within their heart what He's up to, and join Him, and just believe that the first launch didn't go as it should have, but we're not through. And next time we're going to do it.
Pastor Johnny, thank you for investing in us.
Oh, thank you. It was a joy to be here. Look
Welcome
forward to
Canada.
returning.
Yeah.
It's good to be in Canada.